Blake Lively is back and in the spotlight with, the premiere of Another Simple Favor at South by Southwest. But you know me, I can't just stop at the red carpet. We're going deeper this time because, well, let's be real, the timing of all of this is anything but simple. This is Lively's first time really being seen since that Saturday Night Live 50th anniversary thing. And even more than that, it's her first time speaking publicly since those lawsuits with Justin Baldoni blew up.
It is really interesting how this premiere could actually be like a strategy for her.
Yeah.
For the lawsuit. The trial date is coming up so fast, and how she's, received by everyone now could really affect how a jury sees her.
Yeah, you're right. This is way more than just some movie premiere. It's like some crazy important move in this legal chess game they're playing. But before we get too far ahead, can you remind everyone about the lawsuit? What are the big accusations on both sides?
Basically, Lively is saying that while they were filming It Ends With Us, the movie that Baldoni was directing, she was sexually harassed, and then there was retaliation. And Baldoni saying that Lively and her husband Ryan Reynolds made up this whole smear campaign to ruin the movie and to try to take it over from them.
Okay, so yeah, those are some seriously big accusations.
Yeah.
And that sets the scene for what happened at the premiere. We've got all these reports that Lively was welcomed by the fans, cheering pictures, all that. But then there's this protester outside with a sign saying that Blake lied. What do you think about that?
That's when it gets really interesting. Some people might be like, one protester, who cares?
Yeah.
But that one person disagreeing while everyone else is cheering could actually help Lively. It might make a jury wonder if the accusations are actually true, if so many other people still like her.
So you're saying it could almost make her look like the victim.
Exactly. And that's why going to the premiere could be such a smart move. She's basically showing everyone a certain image of herself, and that image could change how the jury sees her.
Now, there was something else interesting at the premiere that I noticed. When they asked Anna Kendrick about everything happening, she gave this super vague answer about doing ayahuasca and how the last year of her life just disappeared. Do you think she was hinting at something, or am I looking too much into it?
It's hard to tell. Kendrick is known for being, playful and kind of out there. But when she said it and how vague it was, it definitely makes you wonder.
Definitely. And then we have Paul Feig, the director of Another Simple Favor, who was very clear about supporting Lively. He praised her as someone he loved working with. And before this all happened, he called the accusations against her a smear campaign. It seems like he's on her side all the way, right?
Yes, and that's a big piece of all of this.
Yeah.
Feig is a respected guy in Hollywood, and him publicly supporting Lively makes her claims seem more believable. It also makes it seem even more like she's the one who's being wronged.
Right. And even with all this legal stuff going on, Lively still managed to keep things light at the premiere. She said that her character was her favorite she's ever played, and even joked about how the premiere was uncomfortable and her personal torture, which got a good laugh from the crowd.
It's almost like she's using humor to make the situation seem less serious. By acting like the controversy doesn't bother her, she might be trying to look confident and innocent. It could also be a way to get the public on her side and seem relatable and down to earth.
Okay, so we talked about the premiere and how it connects to the lawsuit, but let's give our listeners a little info about the movie itself. Another Simple Favor is coming to Prime Video on May 1st, and the early reviews are, well, kind of all over the place. Some critics are loving the chemistry between Lively and Kendrick, while others are saying it feels forced and less fun than the first movie.
It'll be interesting to see how everyone else likes it. With everything going on, it wouldn't be surprising if the movie's success depends on how people see Lively because of the lawsuit.
Right. Now, I want to go back to something that happened before the premiere, something that could be another one of Lively's strategic moves. Remember the Saturday Night Live 50th anniversary special? Amy Poehler asked Ryan Reynolds how he was doing, and he said, "Great. Why? What have you heard?" Do you think he was subtly talking about the Baldoni lawsuit?
It's definitely possible. The timing is suspicious, and it kind of sounds like he knows about all the rumors and stuff without actually talking about it directly. It could be his way of acknowledging the elephant in the room without giving it too much attention.
Interesting. It's like he's subtly trying to control the story before it even really gets started. Now let's get into the newest developments in the lawsuit itself.
So Lively's lawyers just filed a motion to keep some of the information private, like text messages between Lively and some of her celebrity friends.
Wait, text messages with celebrity friends? That's juicy. Why are they trying to keep that secret?
Lively's lawyers say that those texts could be leaked to the press, and that could change how the public sees her, which then could influence the jury. They're worried about the information being taken out of context and used to make Lively look bad.
Okay, that makes sense. But now I really want to know what's in those texts. What could be so bad that they need to be kept attorney's eyes only?
That classification means the stuff in those messages could be pretty sensitive, like stuff that could be used against Lively in court. Maybe even things that contradict what she's saying or reveal details that could hurt her case. It could be about the alleged harassment ways they were dealing with Baldoni, or even conversations with other people involved in all of this.
Wow, this is getting intense. So let's say some of these text messages do get leaked. How much would they actually matter in court? Could they really change the jury's decision?
It's tough to say for sure. It all depends on what the messages say and how they're presented. But jurors are people, and they can be influenced by what they see and hear outside of the courtroom. Even if the judge tells them to ignore the leaked stuff, it's hard to completely forget about it.
This is like a real-life legal thriller. All these secret moves, hidden information, potential leaks. It's like a movie.
It definitely shows how complicated these big legal battles can be. There's the legal strategy happening in court, but then there's this whole other battle going on in the public eye, and both can really affect how the case ends.
So let's talk about what could happen. If Lively wins the case, and they prove that she was harassed and retaliated against, what could that mean for Baldoni's career?
If he's found guilty, it could be really bad for Baldoni. We're talking maybe being blacklisted in the industry, having trouble getting money for future projects, and of course, having to pay Lively money for damages. His reputation would probably be ruined, making it super hard to keep working in Hollywood.
And what if the opposite happens? What if Baldoni proves that there was a smear campaign? How bad could that be for Lively's career?
It would definitely hurt her reputation and how the public sees her. It could make studios not want to work with her because they're afraid of similar accusations or bad press. It might also make people doubt any future accusations she makes, making it harder for people to believe her if she ever says she was mistreated again.
This whole situation really shows the power dynamics in Hollywood. It makes you think about how accusations, true or not, can have a lasting effect on everyone involved.
Absolutely. This case could change how future accusations are dealt with in the industry. It makes us ask how much weight should be given to private conversations in legal cases, and how to protect people's privacy while still making sure the legal process is fair and open.
It also shows how important the #MeToo movement has been in bringing these problems to light and the fight for accountability and justice in situations where there's such a power imbalance.
Right, and it reminds us that everyone is innocent until proven guilty. We need to be careful about judging people based only on accusations and let the legal system do its job.
So for our listener who's been with us on this deep dive, what are some of the big takeaways you think they should think about?
One important thing to remember is that public opinion can really matter in these types of cases. We've seen how Lively seems to be using her public appearances and the support she's getting to maybe influence how the jury sees her. This makes you wonder if trials are fair when celebrities are involved, and if their fame can be used to change public opinion and maybe even affect the legal outcome.
It reminds us that we need to be careful about the information we see, especially in high-profile cases like this. It's easy to get caught up in the drama and speculation, but it's important to remember that there's usually more than one side to every story, and we shouldn't make up our minds before we know all the facts. Yeah, it's like trying to walk through a minefield of information online. You've got so many opinions on social media, leaked stuff, and people guessing about everything. It's hard to figure out what's real.
And that leads us to another really important point, how social media shapes the story, and maybe even affects the legal process. We've seen how fast information, true or not, spreads online, and how that changes how people see the people involved.
It's like a trial by social media happening at the same time as the real trial.
Exactly. And that makes us think about responsible reporting, the idea that someone is innocent until proven guilty, and the possibility of these online platforms being used as weapons in these situations.
This case really shows how hard it is to deal with accusations in the digital age. The line between public opinion and what happens in court is getting blurry.
It's like uncharted territory, and how this case turns out could have a big impact on how we handle accusations in the future. Not just in Hollywood, but in other areas too.
So to wrap up this deep dive, let me ask you one last question for our listeners to think about. Could this case change how we as a society deal with accusations of bad behavior, especially when famous people are involved?
That's a really good question. The result of this case, the legal strategies used, and how the public reacts could all shape how we see and handle similar situations in the future. It shows that we need a balanced approach, one that's fair and makes sure everyone gets due process, but also recognizes how serious these accusations are and how they can affect everyone involved.
Well, that's it for today. We covered a lot, from the strategy behind a movie premiere to the details of a huge legal battle. It's been a crazy journey through Hollywood lawsuits and how public opinion is always changing.
It's been fascinating to see how all these things connect and the big questions they bring up about power, accountability, and trying to find justice in the digital age.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive. It's been great exploring this complicated story with you. Until next time, stay curious, keep asking questions, and remember there's always more to the story than what you see on the surface.